Hi there! So let's take a look at how you can get going with your new Cerebral app. There's a repo with a boilerplate. So if you hit this URL, you can copy this clone URL and use it in your terminal. And that clones the repo, and you are almost ready to get going with your application. But first of all, you will need to install its dependencies. And the dependencies are, of course, Cerebral and React, but it also installs an Express server. So your workflow will actually be running through Node and an Express server. But before we start it, let's take a look at some files here. Cerebral boilerplate. And what we can see here is your app folder, which just contains the Hello World application. We also have a public folder where the index.html file is contained. And we have a server folder, which currently only has one file, and that's the file that will bundle up or pretty much create your workflow and do the bundling. And we also have a server file here, which contains the basic code for running the workflow, but you can add your own stuff to this file, any endpoints, and even use it as a production server if you want to do that. And then we just have some configuration for Webpack, because this is running with Webpack. Okay, let's just close that and let's start our server. We do that by just running npm start. And this starts up a server at port 3000, and it bundles up the project and starts the development server. Now this took a bit over like 1.5 seconds, and that's the initial bundle. When you change your files and the automatic rebundling occurs, it will go a lot faster, just a few milliseconds. But let's move into the browser and hit our localhost 3000. And here we see the basic Hello World app, and we have the debugger on the right side. So I can just do some stuff here. And you can just continue building your app from here. I also want to show you what to do when you want to deploy your app. So if we move back into the terminal, and we just stop that, and then we will run npm run build. And what this does is run Node in production mode, which will let React and other libraries optimize themselves, and even Cerebral does some optimizing. And all these notifications just tells you a bit about what the uglifier does to the code. And what happened now is that there's a new folder called dist, and it contains your bundle application and source maps for that application. So what we can do now is run our server in production mode instead. Npm start. And now you see it doesn't bundle up your application at all, because it will use the bundle application in the dist folder. So when we now move to port 8080 instead, we see that we are back in our application, but the debugger isn't there. So you see it automatically gets injected based on the environment Node is running in. So this was basically it. Clone the repo and get started with your Cerebral app.